Hi guys, so this is the continuation of our previous video, our day 4 working with formula and functions.
Talk about the multiplication. Multiplication, I just make a short note. The multiplication formula is used to calculate total value in sales. So we multiply the quality by the unit price to get the total sales, which is to get our total sales, you are multiplying the quantity by the unit price. Do you understand? How many they buy? So which is equals to what? Where we have our D2, but let's make use of our formula, which is the product open bracket D2, comma E2, E2. That is that. So we have our price for this. Instead of doing one after the other, you can also make it on your field, and you see that. So it will come for this. You see that is how to get that for you. While we have the discounts, we said our discount is the summary of it here. Why I gave it here. A discount is a percentage reduction from the total amount. So if you are giving a discount on this, what do we do? That we are using our percentage. Do you understand? I'm making use of the percentage, which you can see here. Can you see that? That's the example. So for the percentage, which is equals to, we have a formula for percentage also in Excel. You see that we don't have formula for percentage, so we make use of our normal percentage this thing on our keyboard, which is equals to F2 multiplied by what? We are still making use of our product here by 10%. Make use of our 10 and the percentage on the keyboard. That gives you that. So that is the discount price. Do you get that? Do you get that? So to get our amount, the final amount is equals to what? Now we are making use of the subtraction here. We are making use of the what? Subtraction, which is equals to what? Is equals to 4,000 minus discount price, which will give you what? This is the final amount. This is the price they are selling because they are on what? They are on sales. This is the cost when they are on sales. So this is the amount. So now we are going to, do you remember that getting this final amount is we subtracting the total sales minus the discount price? Do you get that? Now, grand total sales. How do we get this grand total sales? That is, we are coming down here. That is to calculate the total amount here. Do you understand? So how do we get that? Which is equals to sum open brackets what we have from our H2 column what? Column H11. That is our ground what? Our ground sales. That is our ground sales. Do you get that? So that is that for you. So now we have work on that. Now let's go to the average. We have the highest, we have the lowest, we have count of customers. How do we get all of this? How do we get all of this? We have the average, we have the highest, which the highest is what? Maximum. We have the lowest, which the lowest is what? Is the minimum. And we have count of customers. Are you with me? So that is for that. So let's go straight to that. How do we get our minimum? How do we get our average? To know the average here, let me move. So how do you get our average? The average is equals to average open bracket. We have this. That is from the H2 to column H11. There is formula there already. There is formula. And another method of getting this average, if you don't want to make use of the average, which is equals to sum open bracket H2 column H11. Are you with me? Divided by 10. They are 10 in number. Do you get that? That's another method of doing it. If you don't want to make use of the average formula, you can also do this. You plus everything together and you divide it by 10 because they are 10 in numbers. Can you see here? They are 10 in numbers. Now, how do we get our highest? How do you get our highest? Our highest is equals to what? Maximum, open bracket, amount. That is the total amount. want to know the highest, which one will make more sales. Are you with me? So that is maximum open bracket H2 column H11. Then we'll close it. Then we'll press our enter. Now, if you look at here, what do we have at the highest? We have the 21,600, which is the highest. Are you there? So now, how do we get the lowest, which is equals to minimum open bracket H2 column H11. You don't need to, these are grand sales, the grand total. So you don't need to add the figure, which is 105,000. You don't need to add that. You have to know that, okay, this is the total goods. So you need to exempt that from that. So that is this minimum. Now, if you look at our sales, what do we have as the minimum, which is the sales for other? That's our minimum. Do you get that? So that is for that. Now let's move to the counts. We want to count how many customers. Let's say, okay, they did not put this number here, and we know, most times when we have large numbers, that is when we make use of all these things. But this one you can just see from the cell. That okay, we only have 10. But when you have a large numbers of, you have a large data that you have to work on. How do you count? It's supposed to count open brackets year to year. I want to do something. Can you see? It's counting 0 because the count only counts for numbers. The count formula here counts for numbers. But note, they said how many customers. So you are counting the numbers of customers, not the value. For instance, let me do an example here. When I say, okay, count H2 to H11, you see that it counts that because the normal count function on Excel numbers, which is value. But when you are counting, that is why you have to understand the key question. What do you want to use this data to do? This is, you are working as an analyst here, a data analyst. You have to understand, what do you want to present? What are you presenting? What are you interpreting with this data? You have to be sure and know that. You have to know that, okay, this data that I want to work on, this is what I want to do. Are you with me? So if you look at the notes here, we have the final amount, we have the sum function. The count is to count for what? This count here, they already gave us number. This is a written, this is a number, but the A, you see, what we have here is number. But I want to teach you how to count. Okay, let's do that. Let's count normal value and count like in names and all of that. So let's say, okay, it's equals to count open bracket. We have our A2 column A11. You see, it count that because already we have our serial number here. Do you get that? But you don't have a serial number, you just have a large numbers of data. How do you count? This is the other count, which is we are using count, which is equals to count A. Do you see that? That A counts numbers of cells that is not empty. If you look at it, count the numbers of cells in a range that are not empty. This one now only counts the numbers of cells that are not empty, that has input in it, maybe value, be it numbers. The counter counts both numbers and alphabets, or maybe let's say names and all of that. So counter is equals to open bracket. We have, let's say, names B2 column B11. Can you see that? That this one now count for what? Count for alphabet. We have a kind of formula in Excel. There is sum if. The sum if is telling you that, okay, sum only if there is condition to the sum. Are you with me? There is a condition to the sum. So you have to understand your data while working. Are you with me? You have to understand your data while working. So this is how to count numbers of customer. No, this is a counter. We have the count if, but I don't want to go deeper. For now, I want us to do it step by step. This is the count if. Sorry, my cap lock is on. So This is what we have. You see, if you look at WAEC and all of that, there are things, there are formulas that you can make use of when you are working in your data. That you give a condition. Don't worry, after this video, I'll be dropping another video that explain if, the condition formatting, the condition formulas. Are you with me? So thank you for this class.